Well, hi there everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For today's recipe, I picked up the camera and decided to record something that I was already going to bake. My daughter, who is home from college, loves scones, and I wanted to make her some strawberry scones because I have Thrive Life freeze-dried strawberries in my pantry, and they are ideal for this kind of recipe. So if you've watched my channel before, you know that I am not much of a baker. I'm more of a cook. Please try to overlook my lack of technique in the baking department, and hopefully you can just learn or at least enjoy how to use freeze-dried food in your everyday cooking. This recipe is based on my biscuit recipe that I already have up on my channel. I'll try to link that recipe below. For today's strawberry scones, I'm going to build on that recipe, use it kind of as a base, and then build on it. So for the scones, I'm going to add a tablespoon of vanilla powder to it. And I'm also going to increase the amount of sugar that I put in the scones. This is not a British scone kind of recipe. This is a sweeter version. It's not overly sweet, but it is sweeter. So probably what you would call an American scone. It's basically my biscuit recipe that's been sweetened up a little bit. I do like using lard as my fat. My mama used lard. I think our bodies know exactly what to do with lard. I'm not a big fan of shortening, but if you like shortening, you can definitely use shortening in place of this. The way I've written this recipe is you can make this recipe up to a certain point and put it in a quart-sized jar and leave it on your pantry shelf. You can make this as a meal in a jar kind of recipe. I'm not doing that today, but you can. You can get to that point right here, and instead of putting the biscuit ingredients or the scone ingredients into the bowl, you can just put them in a quart-sized jar and store this on your pantry shelf. Now, because it has the lard in it, you don't want to keep it for too long because of the fat content. It will go bad on you, but 3 or 4 months should be fine on your pantry shelf, and you could have the basic scone recipe already made up, and then you can add the strawberries to it. Then it's a just add water recipe after that. So if you do make it in advance, this becomes a really quick option for making scones. I love the Thrive Life strawberries. They are so delicious in here. Now I like to crush them up in a baggie because I like some powder and some strawberry chunks. But that's totally up to you. You could completely powder them if you like, but I really like the combination of both strawberry chunks and strawberry powder. Now, you might have to play with the amount of water you put in here. I put a little bit too much. I ended up adding a little too much, so I had to add a little bit of flour to even it out. But it's about a half of a cup, a little more than half a cup of water. Now, if you're using gluten-free flour, the Thrive Life gluten-free flour, you will need to add more like 3/4 of a cup of water. Now, I went ahead and just turned this out onto a parchment-lined baking sheet and then sprinkled it with flour. You don't have to use a rolling pin. You can flatten this out with your hand. But you want basically a circle shape, and then just cut that into 8 triangles. You'll bake this in a 400-degree oven for somewhere between 12 and 14 minutes. I accidentally overbaked mine, so they got a little bit too brown. They were still good, but stuff like that happens. Get busy in the kitchen, forget. While it baked, I went ahead and made the glaze. Now this just makes a little bit of glaze for each of the scones. If you like a lot of glaze on your scones, just double this recipe. I like the glaze for scones to be a little bit on the loose side, so kind of liquidy and not too thick. I like my cinnamon roll icing thicker, and I like this glaze a little bit thinner. It's got a nice flavor to it. You could put some crushed strawberries in there as well for more of a pink glaze. But I like doing it like this because what I like to do is put the glaze on and then top it with a strawberry sugar. And y'all, I forgot to put the baking sheet underneath that. I had a huge mess on my counter when I was finished here. So don't be like me. Don't forget your baking sheet. But this is my favorite topping for this is the strawberry sugar. It's just equal parts strawberries, Thrive Life freeze-dried strawberries, and sugar. So equal parts of each of those into the blender, blend them into a really fine powder, and sprinkle it right on top of that glaze. Isn't this gorgeous? That light pink topping? Y'all, it's so pretty. And I'm telling you, it tastes amazing. These scones are so delicious. They're light and fluffy. My daughter Hallie, she loves these along with a cup of coffee. I like these with hot tea. But y'all, they are so good. They're slightly sweet. Definitely you can taste the strawberry in there. And they are just a delightful treat. If you have some leftover, this should make 8 scones. If you have some leftover, I suggest you store them in the refrigerator and then microwave for maybe 10 to 15 seconds, and then you can enjoy it. I wanted to show you just how light these are. It's a beautiful interior, a gorgeous creamy interior, and then there's streaks of strawberries through all of the bites. It is an absolutely delicious scone. Now, I've only ever made these with the strawberries, but I have a feeling they would probably work with blueberries or peaches. You might have to rehydrate those first. I'm not sure. I've never made any other flavors, but the strawberries, amazingly, you don't have to rehydrate them first. They can go directly into your scone dough, and they are just so tasty. All right, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate you. I'll leave the full recipe and my shopping link down in the description box below, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day. God bless you, and until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.